Peace talks between the government of Colombia and the National Liberation Army resumed on Monday in Venezuela. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel Bermudez met with the Vice President of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Medvedev, in Moscow. An incident between vessels from China and the Philippines sparked tensions in the South China Sea. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, delegations from the government of Colombia and the National Liberation Army reinitiated peace talks on Monday. The parties expressed their gratitude for the willingness of the guarantor countries to resume talks in a political matter between the Colombian government and the ELN, as demanded by the citizens of the rural regions. They also emphasized the need to build peace, given the greatest participation between society and the corresponding authorities. In this context, representatives of the government of Venezuela reaffirmed their commitment to advance in the total peace process for the well-being of the Colombian people.
Venezuela expresses its full support and backing for all initiatives and actions leading to the longed-for total peace in Colombia, a policy established by the government of President Gustavo Petro Rego, and likewise extends the warmest welcome to the goodwill delegations of the governments of Cuba and the Kingdom of Norway, which together with Venezuela are participating as guarantor countries in the reconstruction of the negotiating tables. Venezuela, as host country of the first round of negotiations, will spare no effort to accompany the reconciliation process of our beloved Colombia, with the clear conscience that this is the way for Latin America and the Caribbean to consolidate themselves as zones of peace and prosperity.
Colombian Senator Ivan Cepeda expressed his satisfaction with the setting of the talks with the National Liberation Army, while stressing the importance of this process to advance definitely towards a solution to the armed conflict.
Well, the day of setting up the table of talks with the National Liberation Army has come. We feel very happy about this moment in which we have hope again for peace in Colombia and to advance definitely to a solution of the armed conflict. Of this other chapter of the armed conflict in Colombia, the delegations are ready and the dialogues begin.
In Venezuela, student unions marched this Monday to celebrate the University Students' Day. In this context, the young people highlighted the victory achieved by the Venezuelan educational system during the last 23 years within the framework of the guarantee of free access to free and quality higher education. They also stated that the Bolivarian Revolution has placed the country with the largest enrollment in third-level education. In Venezuela, every November 21st, homage is paid to the protagonism of the youth during the dictatorship of Marcos Pérez Jiménez in the student struggles of university and high school students. In Chile, on Monday, truckers' unions strike for better working conditions and a cap on fuel prices. The groups announced that they will strike until obtaining an audience with the government at the presidential headquarters. The walkout was initially announced only for the truckers of the northern zone of the country, but this Monday organizations from other sectors of central and southern Chile also joined. They also denounced lack of safety and excessive increases in fuel prices. So far, the truckers are on the roads preventing the passage of all cargo trucks, but leaving free passage to emergency vehicles, private cars, and passenger transport. In Argentina, tributes to the president of the Mothers of Plaza de Mayo, Hebe de Bonafini, continue after her death at the age of 93. Political leaders and human rights defenders remember the figure of the late president of the Mothers of Plaza de Mayo, highlighting her unwavering commitment in the struggle for memory, truth, and justice. Hundreds of citizens rallied to the Plaza de Mayo in spite of the rainy weather to pay her tribute. Meanwhile, the Mothers of Plaza de Mayo founding line and their support group affirmed that they will continue with their struggle against the forced disappearance and those immediately and indirectly responsible, considering this as the best tribute they can pay her. Let's take a short break, but first remember you can follow us on TikTok at the account at teleSUR English, in which you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back from the South. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel Bermudez's international tour progresses. On Monday, the president met with the Vice President of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Medvedev. Both leaders agreed on the importance of relations between Havana and Moscow. Medvedev stressed that the round of consultations between Moscow and Havana showed the ties of friendship and the face of strong sanctions faced by both nations earlier. The Cuban president carried out a series of commemorative activities, visits and interviews, as well as meetings with politicians, businessmen and high-ranking officials. He also responded to President Putin's invitation to inaugurate the monument erected to the memory of the historical leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro Ruz. On Monday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying confirmed that Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel will visit her country from November 24th to the 26th as part of an international tour that also includes Algeria, Russia and Turkey. Díaz-Canel will arrive in Beijing at the invitation of President Xi Jinping, with whom he is expected to hold talks that will renew the bilateral cooperation and friendship between Cuba and China. The Cuban leader will be the first Latin American president to arrive in this Asian country after the celebration of the 20th Congress of the Communist Party of China in October, while also recalled that Cuba and China have maintained cordial diplomatic relations for the past 62 years, supporting each other in the development of their economies. Russia and Nicaragua agreed to enhance cooperation in the field of civil aviation. These agreements are the result of a meeting between the head of the Russian Air Transport Agency, Rosaviatsia, Alexander Neradko, and the Minister of Transport and Infrastructure of Nicaragua, Oscar Mojica Obregón, during which they discussed this issue. The agreements focus mainly on the modernization of Nicaraguan airports, which are expected to be used for passenger and cargo transportation. For his part, Neradko spoke about the organizational system for managing Russia's airport infrastructure and highlighted the issue of organizing the construction and reconstruction of airfield infrastructure facilities. The government of Norway has signed an agreement with the Reconstruction and Development European Bank, which states that Norway will finance the purchase of gas for Ukraine for the winter season. As reported by the Norwegian Ministry of Finance, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development is working closely with Ukraine and has committed to provide a €3 billion financial package in 2022-2023 to help the Ukrainian economy. Ukrainian state-owned company Naftogaz will be the recipient of the gas. However, in practice, pre-approved European gas suppliers will receive payment for the volume of gas supplied directly on the bill. This Monday, the governments of China and Russia submitted a resolution to the United Nations Security Council to mitigate the humanitarian situation in North Korea and to promote dialogue with Pyongyang. The Chinese ambassador to the UN urged his peers to consider the joint initiative with Moscow as an alternative to ease tensions in the region. The rapprochement proposal aims to create an atmosphere of dialogue in which the parties could make positive decisions, which may also improve the quality of life of the people of North Korea. In Nigeria, gunmen raided 4 villages in northeastern Zamfara state on Sunday, kidnapping over 100 people, including women and children. According to the Information Commissioner and residents, more than 40 people were abducted from Kanwa village in Surmi, and another 37, mostly women and children, were taken in Kwabre community in the same local government area. Also in Yankaba and Gidangoga communities of Narandum local government area, at least 38 people were kidnapped while working on their farms. Kidnapping has become endemic in northwest Nigeria as roving gangs of armed men abduct people from villages, highways, and farms and demand ransom money from their relatives or use abductees as human shields against air raid from the military. On Monday, Qatar's national energy company, Qatar Energy, signed a contract with China's energy company Sinopec for the supply of liquefied natural gas to Beijing until 2050. In statements to the press, the general manager of the Qatari company, who is also Qatar's energy minister, Saad Al-Kaabi, said the contract was an important milestone. According to the minister, the first sale and purchase agreement for the North Field East project stipulates 4 million tons over 27 years for China's Sinopec. Saad Al-Kaabi stressed that this agreement, considered the longest in history, will take the relationship between the two countries to a new level. And we have more news coming up after a final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back from the south. In the South China Sea, an incident between vessels from China and the Philippines sparked tensions between the two countries on the eve of U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris' visit to the region. The incident took place on Sunday when Coast Guard vessels from both countries attempted to pick up an unidentified object drifting near Bac-Asa Island, a Philippine-occupied islet located about 290 nautical miles off the western coast of Palawan in the disputed Spratly archipelago. According to official sources, some explosions and artillery fire were heard after this incident. The naval incident comes ahead of Kamala Harris' visit to the island of Palawan, where she is scheduled to meet with members of the Philippine Coast Guard and local fishermen's associations on Tuesday. Chinese President Xi Jinping's called for a shared and prosperous future during his speech at the recently held Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation CEO Summit in Bangkok, calling for building a community with a common prospect. The President Xi Jinping's written speech, in which he called for strengthening cooperation under a people-centered development philosophy, have been held by various officials around the world. In the speech, he underscored that China is committed to promoting the building of an Asia-Pacific community with a shared future and will do more to enhance the stability and prosperity of the Asia-Pacific region. Officials around the world said that these initiatives will enable more countries to better participate in global trade, while the people-centered development philosophy will enlighten more countries in pursuing their own path. On Monday, during the second day of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, England and Netherlands won their matches and opened their path with 3 points. At first hour, England beat Iran 6-2 with a great performance of Bukayo Saka, who scored 2 goals. Sterling, Bellingham, Rashford and Grealish scored the other 4 goals of the Three Lions team. On the other hand, Mehdi Taremi scored 2 goals for Iran. In the second game, Netherlands won 2-0 to Senegal in a match defined in the final minutes. Cody Gakpo with a header put Netherlands in front, and David Klaassen sealed the win. In the last game of the day, Gareth Bale rescued Wales with a late penalty to snatch a 1-1 draw with the United States. Wales keeper Bale lashed home an 82nd minute spot kick after earning the penalty moments earlier when defender Walker Zimmerman crashed into the former Real Madrid star. Until that moment, it looked as if Wales were heading for a defeat, struggling to break down a skillful and energetic US squad that is the second youngest at the tournament. Timothy Weah scored for the US side at the 36-minute mark. And Tuesday we'll see the third day of Qatar 2022. We will see on the field 2 of the great protagonists of the football world, Argentina and the fearsome France, as well as other interesting teams such as Mexico, Poland and Denmark will contend.
One of the greatest favorites, the two-time champion Argentina with Messi at captain, will face Saudi Arabia, leading Group C, after their success in the South American qualifiers. Later, the Aztec team will face Poland, which stand out for having Lewandowski, the best striker in recent years. Denmark will open Group D against Tunisia after its excellent performance in the World Cup qualifiers, and then the current champion France will play the first match against Australia.
And as the second day of Qatar Football World Cup wraps up, our special envoy Carlos Montero gives us the details about the matches, the ambience, and other insights.
This beautiful stadium, the Khalifa International, was the scenario for the first goal of this World Soccer Cup Qatar 2022. The British team won against Iran's weak team, 6-2. Truth be told, Iran did not play well. We have been talking with fans from England as they were leaving the stadium, and they all sound very optimistic, saying that they believe that with this team they can make it to the finals. To put this in context, England is traditionally one of the strong teams, but in the last few years it hasn't made it to the finals. This was a match where emotions run high and with political connotations. First, the Iranian team did not sign Iran's national anthem, protesting about the situation women are facing in Iran, the repression to which some women are being subjected to. Another political issue about this match, which could have repercussions from FIFA, given that FIFA had expressly forbidden teams, like the British team, from wearing an armband in support of the LGBTQ movement, but the team captain, Harry Kane, did wear an armband reading "Not to the discrimination." We will see how FIFA reacts to what the British team captain did. Although most of the fans present at the stadium were from England, the few fans from Iran here had banners reading, "We have to defend human rights in Iran." Today is an interesting day here. We'll have 3 matches happening with little time between them, which is rare. The first match corresponded to the B group. The next one is of Group A, which yesterday had Qatar versus Ecuador, 2-0 from the South American team. The coming match now is Senegal versus Holland. Want to know my forecast? Many say it will be an easy win for Holland, but I say yes, Senegal can give us a surprise. And so far, I have been right every time. Yesterday I said Ecuador will win, and today I said England will win. Today's forecast was an easy one, but yesterday's. Qatar could have surprises at all, but it didn't happen. And today, the last match will be between the United States, which will next be facing England. Today, they are playing against the team from Wales. What's for tomorrow?
Y vamos a terminar la jornada con el partido entre la selección de Estados Unidos, que su próximo juego va a ser contra Inglaterra.
Tomorrow there will be 4 matches. The one raising more expectation is that of Argentina. Today, there was a lot of concern about the picture circulating on social media of Lionel Messi's swollen ankle, but we are being told that there is nothing to worry about. That is a null injury, which usually swells when he puts stress on that ankle. Tomorrow is the debut of the Argentinian team. There are many people wearing the Argentinian t-shirt in this city. Today, some fans went as far as replacing all other flags with the Argentinian flag. Well, back to the studio. We will keep you informed on everything happening today, on this second day of Qatar 2022 Soccer World Cup.
And as the hearts of millions of fans live the emotions of the Qatar 2022 World Cup, teleSUR joins this sporting event with From the Field, a show that brings news, analysis, reviews, and more to our audience. Don't miss it. Our show airs at 1 p.m. local time in Caracas and 12 p.m. New York. Remember, From the Field, only on teleSUR. We have come to the end of this news brief, and you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For teleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.